I'm Mike.
I'm Nathan.
And this is a Big End special on the Nintendo Switch. Yesterday, Nintendo, in a 3-minute video, revealed the Nintendo Switch, the now, I guess, real name for the codename of the NX. In the 3-minute video, we got our first impressions of what the Nintendo Switch will look like, as well as a bit of a reveal of what software is going to be on it. And that's about it. So today we're going to give you our initial impressions and analysis of Nintendo Switch, what this means for Nintendo, and what it means moving forward now that they revealed their new console. So Nathan, what are your initial impressions?
Alright, so going into the video, I just kind of wanted a confirmation. Like, I kind of knew that in a 3-minute video, we're probably not going to get any real games or anything like that. This is probably just them just show off the hardware.
Just give us a taste.
And just to get people off their backs, because this has been going on since E3. Like, we've mentioned it multiple times. People just want this thing to know what this thing is already, so...
And there has been leaks or a lot of speculation that it's going to be a hybrid. It's going to be a home console, but something you can take on the go. And the video pretty much confirmed that. In fact, a lot of the sort of even drawings online or images pretty much confirmed what a lot of people saw. I mean, so yes, we can say as a start that it is a hybrid console. It's something you can play at home and then take on the go with you. It detaches, or the controller's attached, so you can play it sort of as a normal console at home, and then attach to the sort of tap part, which is basically the main heart of the console, so to speak, and then play it on go. And in the 3-minute video, we sort of got different sort of venues that people can bring it on the go, on an airplane, to a basketball game, bringing it everywhere, and showed off some software. And I think the interesting part is looking at the video, then looking at some of the software revealed and some of the press releases revealed after. You can see that the tablet actually is the main part of the console. That's actually where all the sort of the hardware power is. I mean, I actually was quite surprised when showing the video that you see the box and you see like the tablet that kind of slips in the middle of the sort of box. It kind of looks like, I guess, a smaller
It's like a dock.
Yeah, and that the dock doesn't really have anything. It's just kind of a docking station. I think they said it has a bit of extra power, but most of the power is in the tablet itself, which is sort of interesting. Yeah. I think trying to showcase that it's hopefully going to be as powerful on like playing it normally on television as taking it on the go. And I think that was interesting. And I think one thing I want to say sort of as an initial impression was the commercial was interesting, because who it was sort of aimed for and who was featured in the commercial. I think a lot of people, their criticism of the Wii and Wii U was, it's very family-oriented, it's for casuals. I don't know if you noticed that commercial. There was no children in that commercial.
Yeah, a lot of people point that out online, basically saying, hey, look, there's actually no kids in here. It's all just young adults or older people.
And I do feel like it was sort of targeted towards that, to bring back the people who haven't played a Nintendo console for a generation, or at least the Wii U, who skipped out, and, say, we're aiming this at you, we're going to target this towards you. What do you think of the name, Nathan, Nintendo Switch?
Oh, it's not a very good name.
I kept calling it the Change, which doesn't sound good either, but...
No, it's better than Wii and Wii U, but it's kind of hoping that'd be something different. So
I know you're both joking, like, we really don't want it to be called Super Mario Switch.
All the Metroid, Metroid Switch, F-Zero Switch, just keep going, let's go.
Star Fox Switch. Oh, yeah, I don't want to see that. But, I think it was interesting talking to some people. I think the concept here, is good, because, I think they have an opportunity here, because when you think of people playing on the go, you have, I don't know, Crush on your phone, or you have, like, Fruit Ninja on your iPad, or you have, like, Pokemon Go, and that's kind of the extent of people think of gaming on the go, ignoring having a handheld. Yeah. And Nintendo's saying, we're going to, like, give you a console on the go, the power of a console on the go. That's going to be kind of have the portability of an iPad. And I think that is kind of game changing. I think that is upping it. I think that is, changing attacking the market in a different way. So, and I think that's something people are interested. I do think this is an interesting concept. Yeah. And I think on the flip side of it, it's an interesting concept that is not a gimmick. This doesn't affect gameplay. Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people want. They don't want, a lot of people complain like on the gimmicks, the Wii and Wii U, and here we have this isn't gimmick. This isn't sort of a gimmick. This is a gimmickless console, so to speak. You don't have to use the gimmick at all. You don't have to bring it on the go. You can just play it at home. I think that's what people want.
Yeah, because one of the things that I lost my train of thought there. I was gonna say that the Switch is kind of just a concept that I'm hoping Nintendo would have gone forward with before. Like, this is basically what the Wii U should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people assume that the Wii U is a tablet that you take on the go with you, and everyone figured out, there's actually a separate unit you need to have that tablet attached to. So this is the Nintendo saying, okay, fine, we're just going to give you what you thought the Wii U was, which is this tablet, which is actually, you can just take it with you on the go, and if you once you're at home, you just put it on the bench. There you go, you have your console. Yeah,
I mean, the hardware looks really good, and I think it looked pretty sleek, and just the way, I mean, again, it's a video, it's hard to judge without having more in-depth, look at it, but the way they're sort of detaching everything, it looked, pretty easy, pretty sleek. I mean, the only thing I'll say that kind of threw me off was, until I saw the picture, was the standard controller with it, like the one you can play, which is like the square with the two pieces attached.
Yeah.
I mean, it did seem kind of...
That's kind of odd. But...
Yeah, and then the way it was like structured, it just, where, kind of have buttons on the right, on the left-hand side, and the top, and on the right-hand side near the bottom. It just seemed like very weird. But then, of course, they showed, like, I guess see, I said change there again. The Switch Pro controller, which I'm like, okay, there'll be probably a $70 Pro controller. We're gonna get the launch. I'm like, I'm probably gonna want to buy the the Pro controller because. So in that sense, I think it's good. But outside of that, I mean, everything. I think it looks good. And I think the big question is, or one of the questions is, okay, if there's no gimmicks, how much power will be sacrificed to make it this hybrid model? Like, I mean, Breath of the Wild looks great, but I think a lot of people still want, we wanted to still have power that we, it's gonna still have this great looking game to play.
Yeah. So one of the things, actually, I remember what I was about to say. So this is kind of relatable to the PlayStation Vita when it first started out. PlayStation Vita was a super powerful handheld that a lot of people were initially caught onto because they figured, hey, look, this is basically a console that has the specs for a console game on the go. The only issue with the Vita is that it just never took off. So that's what's important for the Switch to be able to get started out of the gate, and hopefully get the third-party support to stay on long enough. Because that's one of the issues that the Vita has. That third-party support ditched early.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they showed in the press release that there was a lot of third-party support, but the Wii U also apparently was supposed to have third-party support at the beginning, and that didn't last long. Yeah,
because Ubisoft, EA, and Activision both on board for the Wii U, and then we saw what happened. Everyone ditched like within a year, so it's important that the third-party support sticks around this time.
I mean, I think there are opportunities there. I mean, I think companies are interested in it. Whether they stick with it is another question. I mean, I do think because there is no gimmicks, I don't think it's gonna have as many issues as the Wii U in terms of making specific software that takes in account what the Switch has, and the software, and they also did show some new software. We got some ports. So Splatoon and Mario Kart 8, either they have a port or a new version. It does have some new content. So I noticed Mario Kart 8 had King Boo's playable character, but also had double items. Yeah. So sort of like Double Dash. And Splatoon, people noticed some new maps apparently and some new costumes. And then we got some kind of game that looks like Skyrim, but apparently it's not Skyrim.
Yeah, one of the things that they showed during the conference was kind of looks like Skyrim and NBA 2K17, I would assume. Bethesda and 2K have since said that it's either they're hiding it or it's actually just a pro model that they decided to release for it. But they said that that's actually not the game, so it's either they're trying to hide it even though it's obvious, or that it's actually just not, like, probably come up with something else that's not those two games. Something like that.
And we also got a new Mario game showed off, just like 2 split seconds.
Like 5 seconds of the Mario, but that's about it. But it still looks really nice.
Yeah, I mean, if that's a launch title, I mean, I think that's a good move. I mean, to be fair, every console since pretty much, well, at least the GameCube forward has had the Mario game as a launch title. Well, it's at the Wii. But we had Sunshine for the GameCube, we had New Super Mario Bros. Wii U. Yeah. And I don't think the Wii...
No, the Wii didn't launch with it. It launched with Twilight Princess, though, which is the big thing.
So, I think... So, on the software side, I think, having a big Mario and a big Zelda as launch titles, or hopefully Breath of the Wild in launch, I think that's a good move. I mean, we'll see what other software gets announced. I'd like to still see another 1 or 2 things in the pipeline. I mean, I will say as an aside, as someone who... I mean, I own Mario Kart 8, you own Splatoon. I don't really know if I'm going to spend $80 again on Mario Kart 8. I honestly, I don't think I can. And I guess, I mean, another thing I think they announced, another couple things we noticed is, so they showed Amiibos in the video, no games used amiibos in the video, but they did say amiibo support is confirmed for the Switch. So
Don't call the change again.
I'm gonna call the change again. Switch. It's just yeah. Man, some of these names, Nintendo, you gotta get your name on it. But yes, they said amiibos are confirmed, so I mean, it'd be interesting to see in a more in-depth video later on if there's going to be a game that's going to be heavy use of amiibos, or at least kind of showcase, amiibos still matter.
Yeah.
And I think another thing they talked about was backwards compatibility with the Wii U. I saw a press release and they're talking about backwards compatibility.
I highly doubt it, because it's either that dock has to have a Wii U disc
I don't think
slot,
so.
or
They showed the cartridge. They confirmed the cartridge.
No, I mean the dock.
Yeah. Well, they confirmed the cartridge, the game cartridges.
Yeah. They can cartridges
that look
you
like,
put on top of the.
They look like Game Boy Color, like the squares.
Yeah, did you see the size of those cards though? They're really thick.
Yeah. So
you could probably fit a lot of stuff onto there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I'm kind of curious what they're gonna do, because Nintendo's been pretty good since Beyond for backwards compatibility. It's one of the things that people have complimented Nintendo for, as other consoles don't get backwards
compatibility. At least not in the same way. Like Xbox One's really annoying, where you put your 360 game in, then Microsoft says, okay, you have a 360 game in there. Here's a code. You have to download the game now. Yes. You can't just play it off of your.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
So I am wondering about that, and I mean, maybe they could do something kind of, if people have Splatoon or Mario Kart 8, they can do something where, I don't know, you don't have to pay the full price, or like some kind of bridging.
We need some kind of incentive. Come on,
I think there should be some kind of bridging, because
especially since we paid out this money for your failed console. Let's get a little incentive.
And they're good games. Like, don't get me wrong, Mario 8 and Splatoon games. Are probably some of the best games on the Wii U, and they'll probably be mentioned in our Wii U retrospective episode. Yeah, for good reason. But I don't think I could pay $80 again if it's a launch title.
For Splatoon, I might. Because only just to make sure. If I get Splatfest back again for an X version, then I'd definitely join again. Or if we get the esports community that they were promoting on their golf.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, guaranteed there's going to be some kind of Mario Party type game that's going to take advantage of those little controllers and bring it together. Let's talk about some of the things they didn't mention. Or, I mean, there's a lot of big questions. Yeah. And for me, the three I was thinking was, one, price. Yeah. Two, probably the most important, honestly, is what is the battery life of this portable iPad? Yeah. Because a lot of people complained about the Wii U, justifiably so, that if you had full brightness and you're playing a heavy game like Xenoblade or Splatoon, so it takes advantage of it, you had like an hour and a half of battery life before it went red. And people don't want to charge it all the time. I mean, people complain enough about charging at home, and no one wants to play something like Breath of the Wild for 15 minutes on a bus, and then it's like, oh, it's already red. Like, well, so I think the battery life is going to be honestly the most crucial thing between this being honestly a best-selling or a good-selling thing, or something that's like, well, I can't take advantage of the novelty. It's just going to be a home console. Yeah,
that is true.
And the third thing is software. Yeah. So far, again, looks like we got Breath of the Wild. Looks like we have a new Mario game, but I think they got to have 2 or 3 big games.
Yeah, and I want to see some third-party games. Yeah. Right out of the gate. Even the Wii U had third-party games out of the gate, they still had Assassin's Creed 3, so Call of Duty Ghosts.
But not ports. Like for example, I saw the rumor that Beyond Good and Evil 2, if it's a sequel or I guess an advanced remake of the original, might become an exclusive for the Switch.
Well, we'll see. Because Michel Ancel, the director of Beyond Good and Evil, loves Nintendo. And he was also the one who was making Rayman Legends, which was supposed to be exclusive to Wii U. Yeah. Before Ubisoft was like, nope, sorry.
Yeah, and I mean that before, like, Resident Evil 4 was supposed to be exclusive to GameCube. Yeah. But you can still have an exclusive for a couple months or a year, and still that's a still good incentive to buy a console early, right? Yeah. So if there's a game like that, Beyond Good and Evil 2 or other games that pan out, I think that'd be really good at launch. That would be what Nintendo needs to tell people. We're back. Third-party games are supporting us. We have a strong console. Yeah. But I think the price needs to be competitive. And I think the battery life, I think it's got to be at least 5 hours. Yeah. So I mean, they're showing people being on a plane, and I gotta say, someone who has to travel for work sometimes, even I was thinking, you know what? Maybe I'll take this on the go feed. Maybe when I have to stay in a hotel for a month, maybe I want to bring this console with me.
It'd be very easy.
It looks very portable. I mean, granted, I feel like the Wii U wasn't that bad, but I'm thinking no more wires. Maybe I don't have to bring all those wires. I could, theoretically, I could just bring the charging station with it, and that's it, and then just play it. That sounds like a good incentive for me. So, yeah. But as I said, I think the battery life, it's got to be at least 5 hours, right?
Yeah. Okay. Here's kind of my thought on it. So battery life has to be like at least minimum has to be 3 hours to even be considered.
Yeah.
Because if it's not 3 hours, then people would be like, okay, so what?
3 hours on full, like you
Yeah.
know, display, not just
Yeah.
sacrificing.
Yeah, I can't go red in those 3 hours.
Mhm.
So if that happens, then there might be an issue. Because I have to take the bus to and from school. So if I only have like 2 hours out of it before it goes red,
Yeah.
I'm not probably not gonna continue playing my game because I'm a little worried about the battery. It has to be, I'd say 300 is kind of a good point where it should be. But
Yeah.
and
Depends accessories we have to buy with.
yeah, that's another thing I'm gonna mention later is what we're talking about is accessories because there's a lot of stuff on there.
And I think the other aspect is, and a lot of people are going to ask about, is if I bring on the Go, how much is going to be sacrificed in terms of power?
Yeah.
Like, no one wants to Breath of the Wild and it lagging on the tablet, or like things can't load properly and there's a clear difference. Like, it has to be seamless between playing at home and playing on the go.
I still think that they said there's rumors that the dock will boost power. I was just reading something just earlier today. They're saying that the dock will boost power, and so basically, if you take it on the go with you, there will be sacrifices.
But
we'll see how.
it's
bad
got to be
sacrifices
minimal
will
though.
be. Yeah,
because you know, again, I
we
like
can't have like the game start. Yeah, as you mentioned, the game start lagging.
major lag, or like the graphics are just gonna tilt downwards,
Yeah.
or I mean, no one wants to see that. And
Yeah.
I think the selling point is, again, playing something like Breath of the Wild, like that you normally play on a powerful console or on your desktop computer, a game like that. It's like playing it on the go. I mean, it's got to have that power.
Yeah.
And I mean, another thing is, I mean, I actually think the size is pretty good though as a portable thing. I mean, it was pretty small. It looked like an iPad. It looked like something you could fit in your bag pretty easily.
Yeah, it's basically like an iPad size. Basically, just a little bit bigger than a Wii gamepad kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's what I think it is.
It looks smaller. It looks pretty thin.
Is it? Well,
It
I mean,
looks very
in
thin.
terms of how long it is.
Yeah, length is about the gamepad, but
yeah,
I mean,
it looks
like,
thinner than the.
it's
gamepad.
not like the gamepad kind of bulky, like it's kind of thick, like a textbook.
Yeah,
Well, not that
one,
bad, but
yeah, the gamepad's a lot thicker. Than
but this looked like very thin. It looked like just leaned back.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like, I sort of referenced it before, was I'm not a big fan of the normal controller, that the square with the two pieces attached. That just seems awkward to play.
It looks like basically a lot of people comparing it to the Dreamcast or the Xbox controller.
Yeah,
original
and
Xbox
I just don't understand it. Like, and the only thing I could think of was, I hate to say it, to force you to buy the Switch Pro controller, because they played that, which looked like kind of a nice GameCube type controller.
Yeah,
looks like smaller.
Standard, basically looks like an old Pro controller. Yeah,
and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna probably have to buy that because I don't really like the square and it looks awkward.
The square's probably gonna be what comes with it.
Yeah, I know. So we're gonna have to buy the Pro controller. And I think another thing was people were talking about was, especially, I mean, it's not going to really matter for a single player game, but if you're going to play, say, a co-op or a party game on the go with it, and each person has to hold one of those little pieces, they look pretty damn small. They look
really
like
small. They're like Game Boy Micro size.
Yeah, like 2/3 the size of an NES controller. I'm like, how are you going to play like maybe maybe it's like a Mario Party, like a mini game, that's fine, but I'm trying to think of like a more complicated game. Those things look very small.
I'm just trying to play like Call of Duty with the
controller. I'm a little skeptical about that. So I think that's another issue. They're gonna have to people are gonna have to think about. Again, I feel like this is where, please buy the Pro Switch controller.
Yeah, another thing is like, in terms of local multiplayer, that actually might be very limiting. People might have to have their own switches. Like,
well, they showed the commercial like 2 switches with 4 people playing between 2 of them.
Yeah, but that would be hard to do with local multiplayer because everybody's gonna have to have their own switch, or kind of like do with that Splatoon esports tournament. It's kind of everybody's gonna have to do that.
But even with that, Nathan, I am thinking about if you're gonna do like an esports or a gaming tournament or playing with friends. I'm just imagining not having a television, not having to have 4 televisions, just having the 2 set up and having a player match.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing that probably people aren't talking about, but that in some ways is taking local multiplayer in some ways to the final level of, you don't need to go to friends and have a television. You just go anywhere with the 2 things and play a console level game on the go between 2 things. I think that is kind of,
it's cool. Yeah. Just I wish we didn't have to use the little tiny controllers.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the only thing that I'm kind of worried about.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we'll see if the Pro. I'm sure the Pro controller will be it is wireless, so I'm sure it'll connect to that. But that's another thing that. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here. I mean, overall, thinking about it, I think it's a good start.
Yeah.
Nintendo stock did drop. We like to always keep track of Nintendo stock on the show, just to see how they're doing as a company. But they didn't really release much. Rumor is they might not release any information until January, which makes you wonder about the launch window of it coming out in March and not giving a lot of time between here showing everything off and it coming out, and hopefully not having any bad news like delays or software getting delayed.
No, we're gonna get a software delay guaranteed.
Well, Breath of the Wild has to come out. I mean,
It doesn't have. Remember, they never said Breath of the Wild is a launch title. They just said Breath of the Wild comes out 2017. They never said March 2017. So that could be like holiday 2017.
Oh, it needs to be launched.
It should be launched, like if they want it to be taken seriously. But I still think that there's a possibility it's not going to be released at launch.
But I think overall, I think this is a good move. I think this is the console people wanted to see. Mm-hmm. Yes, Nintendo still did something different, but the gimmicks for gameplay are over. It's a hybrid now. You can play it at home traditionally, but you can now play a console on the go, hopefully, with the power almost of a console on the go. I think that's pretty revolutionary in a way.
Yeah.
To move up, in some ways, 20 steps above phones or iPads or even what the 3DS or other handhelds offer. And I'm happy about that. And I like the way it looks. I think they address some of the problems with the Wii U in this new console. And in terms of games, I'm looking forward to what they see. And one thing we didn't mention is there are a lot of software opportunities for Nintendo on this new console. A Pokemon game. A lot of people are saying online already, give us Pokemon on a home console. It's been a long time. We want a full game.
Yeah.
Metroid.
Yeah.
F-Zero. Fire Emblem. I was thinking all kinds of so many games out there.
The thing is, actually, Game Freak, the developers of Pokemon, always said that they were making games for the NX, and because now it's called the Switch. Sorry, I called the NX. Look at me doing that. So the Game Freak said they're making games for Switch, so that could mean that the next mainline Pokemon games could potentially be on the Switch, which is really exciting.
Although one thing I did hear on that note, they did say that they're gonna keep Pokemon in handheld. There's the main games,
but the Switch is a handheld.
That's true. It depends on how many people buy it, right?
Yeah.
Because 3DS is selling really well.
They probably will still keep Pokemon on the 3DS for at least the next probably 2 years. It'll probably still be on 3DS.
Yeah, they said that there's no announcements anytime soon about the future of the 3DS, and I think it will be a big risk financially unless the Switch does extremely well for them to say, okay, we are focusing on one system for both as a handheld. Yeah. I think that's a big risk for them.
For sure, the Wii U is dead now. This is the nail in the coffin for the Wii U with the Switch, so this is officially done. It's over.
So we'll see. We'll see where they go from there. I think there's a lot of opportunities for software, a lot of opportunities in terms of what they can do for gaming. And I think there's a lot of questions to be asked. But I think as a start, I like what I see. I think people are interested. I think the world's interested to see what Nintendo's going to do, and hopefully with the next announcement, we'll get more information. Nathan, any other thoughts from you?
Yeah, so I was going to say, this is what Nintendo had to do for me. For my thoughts, I think most people had to do to stay relevant. The other thing they could have done was to make something that's stupidly powerful and beat Sony. Microsoft.
Well, it's never going to be. It's Nintendo.
So that's not going to happen. But I'm saying that's the only other thing they could do besides making this console handheld hybrid. Because Nintendo does their handheld so well. Mm-hmm. And being able to play your handheld basically at home, using the dock, is basically their way of saying, okay, this is our vision for what our handheld and console is going to look like. Mm-hmm. And if the Switch does all this, probably what we'll see from now on is just Nintendo making handheld console hybrids.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. And one last note I just want to mention was I was thinking if this is going to be something Nintendo expects people to bring on the go as much as say 3DS, I'm wondering, is there going to be some kind of Street Pass feature maybe?
Oh, we'll see a Street Pass.
I don't know. I'm just thinking,
Street Pass is fun still.
Yeah, no, it is fun, and it's one of the best features of the 3DS.
It's underrated. It's features of the 3DS.
Yeah, and I don't think it's used as much now because there's not as many games people playing right now. But I think it'd be interesting to see depending on how this console sells, and I think this is definitely a console where Nintendo will want to just get as much data collection as possible, see how many people are taking on the go and people are staying at home, because it'd be interesting to see how those features are sort of come into it. Mm-hmm. So it'd be interesting to see in the future, but for now, this is what we have. But today, we want to thank everyone for listening to our special episode today of The Big N. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks.
Our main team is provided by Victor Zoni. Our editor is Kevin Nguyen. If you have any questions or comments about The Big N, please email us at TheBigNPodcast@gmail.com. We have a couple episodes up, regular episodes of our podcast, so you can go to our channel on YouTube. Please subscribe today if you want to hear more what we have to say. I'm Mike.
I'm Nathan.
And this is The Big N.